Welcome to the 192nd episode of the Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today we are recording on August 3rd, 2020. My name is Brad Galloway. I am the editor of GameCritics.com, and I am 50% of this here show. With me is the guy who's going to make $1 million in the eShop. It's Carlos Rodella. How's it going, Carlos?
Yeah. Hey, I would take $10,000 or $1,000. Anything in the eShop. I'm not.
Excellent.
It's for if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about. I have working on a video game. A platformer, and so I'm going to sell in the eShop, and we're going to see if I can make $1 million. I guess that's the goal.
How's it coming so far?
It's good. I'm at a stuck point. I think that's the technical term. Based on whether I put enemies in it or not, because I have this new idea of having just the environment be the challenge.
Man versus nature.
Classic
conflict. Yeah.
So I think it's going to go that way, which means I'm just killing a bunch of chunks of the game. So we'll see.
Here, dude. Pro tip for you. Before you launch your game, go on to Etsy or jump on to anime Twitter or whatever. I got some people in my timeline I can hook you up with. You need to get some character art with an anime girl with enormous boobs. Get that to be your title art. Guarantee you'll sell 5 times more than you would have sold otherwise.
And the game no longer has that anywhere in it. There's no actual.
Doesn't need to. Dude, you know how many games I've seen where there's some giant chested anime chick. I'm like, oh, this looks awfully sexual. Click on it, and it's like some just match 3 puzzler which has nothing about it, or a rhythm game where it literally nothing to do with the art. But that's how you get people suckered in. That's how you make those sales, dude. Sex sells.
Cool. I'm not doing that, but thanks for the tip. It's gonna be stand on its gameplay alone because it's gonna be fun to play.
All right.
Anyways.
All right. Fair enough. We will discuss this on another day. Excellent. Welcome to the show, folks. We have 1.5 million games to talk about today. In fact, it's going to be a very packed, very tight show. But before we do that, we're going to stick to our usual no bullshit opening. Although we do have a bit of housekeeping. Nothing from me, but what do you have today, Carlos?
A couple of things real quick. We mentioned Ghost of Tsushima on this show before. It's one of my favorite games of this year. I really enjoy it. I'm still playing it. I'm actually slowing down and playing it slowly because I like it so much. I thought I'd mention 2 things that I think would be really cool for our listeners, as well as just to tell you, is for accessibility, they had a patch go up and you can make the text bigger.
Oh, nice. Excellent. I love seeing that happen.
I know. And we're big, sticklers for small text here on the show. I thought that was really nice. And secondly, we didn't talk about it much, but the load times are the best load times of any open world game I've ever played. Period.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And you're on the standard PS4, is that correct?
I'm on the PS4 Pro. I don't know if that matters. It'd be interesting if it does. And there'd be
I would guess it does, because I'm on a standard PS4, and if you're on the Pro, I'm guessing you got an advantage there.
Well, it's I haven't had many advantages of the PS4 Pro. I swear. I don't feel like it's ever been that much better. So if it's for load times, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Because you pick a place on the map. And about, let's see, under a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 seconds sometimes, 15 seconons.
For a complete loading of a whole new environment.
Yeah, you're in the new spot. Sometimes 5 seconds. It's ridiculous. So I never mentioned that in my review, my early preview review. But man, oh man, that's really cool. So more games, please try to work on your load times, because that really, it makes just the whole experience better.
That's a good point. I know that's a bar that both Microsoft and Sony are going to try to hit in the next generation. And we discussed this, I believe it was last episode, where there's only a certain bar you can hit with the graphics before, and after that you're just diminishing returns, right? You're getting smaller and smaller specks of sweat, smaller and smaller pores. I mean, it just doesn't matter when you hit a certain point. But something that would matter, like you said, faster load times, or improved UI, or the ability to change text or something. If you could use that power of the consoles to make a better experience in general, I'm all for that. I'd rather see some of those things than to get one more, hair on a guy's forehead that's in Madden that I'm not going to care about anyway.
Yeah, that we never see because it's got a helmet on for one thing.
Exactly. But it's the power in this thing, the rendering power, it's amazing.
The hair and sweat power. And this is something that I shouldn't go into, but I need to, and I don't want to derail us too much because it's just housekeeping. But just recently, Joe Rogan said something about video games.
Oh, fuck that guy.
I know.
Fuck that guy.
I know. And so it's like a long statement I want to make, but I don't really want to make it. So let's just say, in short, Joe Rogan basically said something like, he didn't like the fact that video games wasted his life, and he was addicted to them, by the way, and that they're like, you're not accomplishing anything, you're doing nothing when you're playing them, even though he failed to mention there's a multi-billion-dollar business around it, and you can get a job in anything around games. But then he said you should actually just like work on jiu-jitsu because that's something he loves and he's like obsessed with. And he says if you did that and you became an instructor for jiu-jitsu, like then you've actually done something. And I go, okay, how many jiu-jitsu instructors are there in this country? How many people work in games? Like, talk about a career. He was actually like trying to say it like for a career, and I'm like, motherfucker, there's like 8 of those people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and there's only so many dojos you can have, whereas games is like this enormous field. And, I don't know that much about jiu-jitsu instructors, but I would wager that a top-level game designer or programmer or graphics person probably makes a shitload more than a jiu-jitsu instructor.
Or a streamer, because right now I looked at some of the, top streamers, not just streamers, but like professional game players, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Huh?
Yeah, dude, it's big money.
Yeah, it's big money. So, anyways, his point is not valid. So that's why I might as well not even talk about it, because he didn't make a valid point at all. And later on in the episode, he actually backtracked and said it was kind of like comedy. Anyways, it's a mess. People will take the tagline and be like, Joe Rogan thinks games are dumb. So just maybe, again, watch that clip, and you'll see that he has no point at all there. And then fuck Joe Rogan.
Well, just to tag on to that a little bit, everything you said, 100% agree. Also, fuck Joe Rogan. Yes, fucking stupid idiot. But also on top of that, just to kind of take it in a slightly different direction, we are not living in a world where we need to justify things that we love with a price tag. Like, you don't have to have a hobby that makes money in order for that hobby to be okay.
Right.
Like if you enjoy books and you really want to read books, like I can remember back in the day, like some people saying, "Oh, Brad, you read too many books." Okay, well, I mean, that's fine, but books are great. They made me a smart person. I'm an editor now. I use that knowledge, and I think books benefited me in many ways. Or people, people who like watch TV all the time, or people who listen to music. Music is a waste of time. TV is a waste of time. Like, you can enjoy these things that you like, and they don't have to be profitable in order for them to be legitimate hobbies.
Yep.
So, like, this American idea we have of constantly tying a price tag to everything is really stupid. I mean, it's really stupid. I mean, I totally recognize there's definitely a financial gain to be made if you work in games. Games sell a lot. I mean, it's a huge industry, blah, blah, blah. But, also just putting that aside, if you're a person who just loves playing games, that's okay. It's totally fine. I'm sure Joe Rogan watches shitloads of TV, or he like probably drinks himself black, every Thursday and Friday and Saturday night. Like, what about that wasted time, Joe Rogan? Why don't you stop drinking or stop drugging or whatever the fuck you do and do something productive? Why don't you do that, huh?
It's just doing stuff because we're all going to die anyhow. So let's just do some stuff and entertain ourselves before that inevitable end. Not to get dark, but that's the case. Like, it is all just like everything's a time waster, right? Like, then
I mean, literally, I mean, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Everything you're doing that is not a job,
right,
is a time waster. And is he saying that all we should be doing is just making money 24/7 because Jeff Bezos isn't rich enough? We should all go work for Amazon and just make more money because the billionaire's not rich enough? Like, fuck that. Take some time for ourselves. Enjoy our lives. Like you said, we're not infinite beings. I mean, it's okay to enjoy something, and it doesn't make money. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that at all.
And that's the reason why I brought the money part up first, is because that was kind of an argument, like if you would have done this, then here's where you would have reached a career. And I was like, well, that's an invalid point, because you can have an insane career in games. You know what I mean? So that's like fucked up. So after I excluded that, then, like you said, your point comes into play, is like, shut up. Like, let everybody do whatever the fuck they want to do.
No doubt, dude. Like, the world is miserable enough already. We don't need Joe Rogan shitting all over video games.
He's canceled.
Fuck. I wish that motherfucker was canceled. Okay, we're not gonna.
Hey, our show's pretty popular. I'm just saying. At least hundreds, if not thousands, of people listen to us. I think we can cancel someone. Let's do it.
Joe Rogan's ass. Canceled, motherfucker. Okay.
Video
Enough of that. Any other housekeeping, or are we good?
No, we're good.
All right, folks. Let's dive right into it. We got a ton of games to get through. It's gonna be crazy. Let's start with you, Carlos. Sword Art Online, Alicization, I think is how it's pronounced. That's my best guess at it. Alicization?
Alicization, I think. Yeah.
I will trust your judgment on that. I am not very familiar with the Sword Art Online franchise. I'm pretty sure it's like an anime, maybe, or it's a manga or something, and then it became a game. Okay, good.
Yep.
And there's a series of, I believe, mostly PlayStation games, and they're kind of like JRPGs, or maybe they're JRPG/MMOs or something. I don't know much about it. Never been something I've gotten into. But why don't you tell us about your experience with Sword Art Online? Alicization.
And there's another word after that, isn't it? Look it up. I think it's another word.
Oh my god! I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, I've played a couple of these games, and it is a JRPG, action RPG, and it really does, based around that same type of thing of, hey, you're in an MMO, but you're also in an RPG, but you're also like outside of the MMO, and you're in a real world, but you're really just like in the MMO. What are the other games that do that? There's a couple other that do that. Oh, my goodness. The one with all the video game girls, the girls that are actually video game consoles.
You're thinking like Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Yeah, Neptunia.
And there was also a really big one that was on PS2 that was like basically the exact same thing. And I'm totally blanking.
Oh, no, it's the... Oh, my goodness, it's on my tongue. It's the one called... No.
We are a bunch of lame old dudes that we can't remember what that game is called. It was huge on the PS2.
Hack. Dot hack.
Woo, that's what it was. Yay, we remember. We're not senile
We're
yet.
Smart.
Hey.
Yeah. So yes, definitely in the same vein as that. Okay. It's got a little bit of a twist, and if you watch the anime series, I guess basically most of it is the anime series. So you're kind of, like they did, like I mentioned last episode, Matrix, the movie Matrix had a video game. And in that game, you actually played portions of the movie, right? But from different perspectives. And that game is fucking awesome. Anyways, this is similar to that, where like if you watch the anime, you probably know a lot of the major beats. And I didn't know that going into it. I just thought it was kind of a new game based on the anime. It's not. It's a lot of the actual anime show is in this game.
Are you talking literal clips?
No. There's animation, but I think you're playing. You're really just playing through it, right?
Just replaying the story of the anime.
Yeah, the story bits.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you play as a character who basically, gets stuck in an MMORPG, is trying to figure a way out of that world, and has to kind of play along with the characters he meets, because he knows he's in a game, but he doesn't know how to get out of it, and so. He's got to do quests and meet people and try to figure a way to basically get to an area where he can get out or get access to get out of this game. That alone is cool as shit, right? Like, I love that concept. And in the beginning of the game, he was like talking to people, and he's like, well, this person's not an NPC, but is it a player in the game? It doesn't act like that. What is this person? And it got me really curious, like, what are the other characters in this world? Are they like AI? Are they not? And they all could do like digital things, even though they were in a fantasy setting. So the game takes place in a fantasy type world, RPG, but they can do like bring up a little digital display like in the middle of the air. And they're like, okay with that. And I'm like, oh, so they must know they're in a game, but they never like allude to they're in a game. It seems complicated.
It sounds kind of meta to me. I mean, I'm following you, and I know the premise, so that sounds kind of crazy. Right.
So,
but you're not actually playing with other people, are you? This is a single.
You're not. You're a single player game. But the point is, it never really like goes into the thing that I would have liked the most, which is these characters are NPCs, and like, what does it mean to be inside a video game? And almost like poking fun at it. But instead, he just joins the journey and finds a missing girl and goes and fights other people, and then it's just like you're an RPG. So I feel like there's a missed opportunity, and maybe later on in the game, I'm assuming near the end, you like try to get out of this game. But it really just felt like most of the game was going to be, hack and slash, going on quest, not really telling people that it's a game, and whatever. Okay? So that's where I sit. And halfway through, I'm like, it's still an RPG. It's kind of fun. Then some of the enemies get really bullet spongy. I mean, like an MMO, right?
Is this real-time hack and slash?
Real-time hack and slash.
Okay.
So, and when I hate it when the monster doesn't, like, warrant the amount of health it has. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, dude, totally.
It's like a little, like, frail bird creature, and it's like 5 minutes later, he's still alive.
After 10,000 sword slashes, he's like halfway
I
down
did
on his
so
health
much.
bar.
I did so many
Yeah.
combos to that bird creature, and so that's starting to wear thin on me. And then I hit the breaking point. Here's Carlos's out point. Okay,
What is the breaking point?
here's how I escaped the game.
How
Is
Carlos actually got out of the game.
I actually got
yes.
out of it. Yeah. Again, to recap before I even get to the ending, I like the idea of a game where you go inside and you're trying to question what this is and NPCs. That is not this game, and I still would like that game to be made. Second, the bullet spongy thing was getting me out. I'm already out. Third thing that got me out fully was at some point I got further enough in the game that they did kind of a story break, and they're like, okay, anyway, so all that stuff happened, but then all this other stuff happened that we're not going to have you play through. But you know what it is. It's this, and they went to this college, and then after the college, they did this stuff. And then, okay, you're in the college, and it's 3 years later. And I was like, what? That's not fun at all.
Is that because they had to like jump ahead to like season 6 in the show or something?
Exactly. It was tied to the anime. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, I'm out.
Oh,
I'm not playing
weak.
anime.
That
That's
weak.
weak. Yeah. That's it. That's my whole review. Is that I can't get into the game and now if you're an anime freak for this game, like I was for the Matrix game, then you're in because you're like, I'd love to play more of the anime that I love. But if you're someone looking for an RPG, don't even try it. It's like it's silly. They jumped ahead so far and ugh.
Well, it's a good point. A lot of these tie-in games where like I played one recently for One Punch Man. I know that there's a lot of these Naruto games where they're clearly based off an anime, and sometimes they do a really good job of being a game experience on their own, where maybe you're familiar with Naruto or One Punch Man or with Sword Art, and you want to check it out, but like you're not like a super fan, like you're not there to have the series regurgitated at you. You just maybe you like the world or the concepts, and it goes off in its own direction. If it's a game like that where it can welcome someone in without them already being a super fan of the license, that's great. But if it's just recapping a show and you get to click a few buttons and kill a few dudes that you recognize from the TV show or something, that to me is kind of a waste, and it's a very limited market because, I mean, I'm sure that Sword Art has a lot of fans, but if you're only catering to those fans, you're missing out on a lot of other people who may like the art, who may like the JRPG action or whatever, or the hack and slash action, but you're not bringing them in. Like, it's a fine art to kind of license a title, keep the spirit and the flavor, but then also welcome newcomers in. So clearly it sounds like this one did not meet that bar.
A fine art? Like a sword art?
Oh,
Pun.
shit. So
Hidden
good.
pun.
I didn't even
It was
know
a
I
hidden
did that.
pun.
Oh, man. There's layers to this show, dude.
Yeah, I know. People have to go back and listen to it like 3-4 times. Please do that, by the way. By the way, to your point, though, go back to the Matrix, because that's all I'm going to do now in this podcast, is in that one, you did play different perspectives. So it was worth going through parts that you might know because you never seen that whole section, Anywho, I will say this last positive thing about it, and I didn't say this at the beginning, but we did get a code for this game. So full disclosure, late. I will say I really, really enjoyed the combat. Because it was too bullet spongy, it bothered me, right? But like the combos, the way that you just chain things together, everything just felt really good, like a fluid and good combat. So I will say that. I think the people who want to play this game are fans of the anime who don't care that it's not a lot new, and then the combat's pretty good. But the bullet sponginess is pretty tough too, because that bird creature should have been dead.
That sucks. Well, it sounds like a kind of a missed opportunity. Maybe fans who are already fans will enjoy it, but it sounds like it's maybe not for somebody who's just on the outside looking in.
100%.
All right. That is Sword Art Online, Alicization, Lycoris. I looked it up while you were talking.
There it is.
Man, what a title. That is a mouthful. Okay. Moving on. Folks, I'm going to take over for just a few. I have a bunch of games that I've been given codes for, and I need to talk about in the show, and we got to get them on the show. I keep putting them off, so just put up with me for the next 5 minutes or so. I'm going to go through these rapid fire.
They're like quick Darksburgs.
Yeah, basically. Callback. Let's see. First one I'm going to talk about is called Othercide, Othercide. This is a isometric turn-based strategy game where you play kind of like a spirit of a lady who is fighting I don't know, like Cthulhu-ish monsters from another outside our veil of reality, and the whole game is in black and white, except for little splashes of red. And what you do is you generate, you call them daughters. I don't know if they're actually your daughters. They seem like mental constructs that are kind of like slivers of you as soldiers, and you go to do XCOM style battles, and you fight these horrors from the other side, and if they die, it doesn't matter because you just generate more. So they're kind of like disposable, and you just have to like keep making more of them and throwing them into this meat grinder to kind of ultimately level up these unlocks that you get. And they expect you to die a bunch, they expect you to grind a bunch, and it seems like they just want you to keep doing this combat until you're tough enough to survive the combat, eventually get to a boss, etc., etc., etc. Carlos, have you seen anything about this? Do you know about this game?
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I love the art. I love the monsters. I love black and white and red, and I was excited. I actually originally thought it was an action RPG, and I was like,
I did too.
Shit.
I did too.
Yeah, I think some of the marketing made it look like that because it was so cutscene heavy.
Yes.
And then I did watch the review because I knew, found out it was an XCOM-y type game, and especially a roguelike one at that. So I'm out, of course. But what do you think of the like difficulty of it? And did you think that like disposing of all those daughters like felt worth it?
I mean, just to be perfectly blunt, I felt like it was kind of a weird system that felt a little bit cringy to me, just because you're generating a bunch of girls and throwing them away and they're dying, and it just seemed kind of, I mean, I'm not going to take a giant issue with it because games are games, you can do whatever you want, but it seemed kind of weird to me, like a little bit strange.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's extremely grindy. Like from the get-go, I was already just kind of repeating myself because it's so difficult of a game, and you got to unlock a bunch of stuff before you can even hope to progress. That right off the bat, I was like, okay, well, I didn't make any progress. I got to redo this set of levels again, doing levels again, make some new daughters. The daughters look like the ones I just had, and it's just really tough. You can't heal anybody unless you sacrifice one, and they die real quick anyway. And it just seemed like one of those games where it's very cool concept, and the art is very good. Like if you look at still pictures, screenshots, it looks great. But I got out like really quick. I bounced off it because number one, just extremely grindy. Like playing XCOM or any of those games, like you got to go through a bunch of combat. That's understood. But it takes it to like kind of an unwelcome extreme, and I'm just not into grinding. And also, I got to be honest with you, this game looks great in screenshots, but like playing it was really hard on my eyes, dude. Like the black and white just gets exhausting to look at after extended periods. Graphics are really small. Text is microscopic. It is so small, and the UI is hard to read. The text is really hard to read. It's just my eyes got really tired from watching it, and between that and the grinding, I'm like, I'm out. So like it looks cool. It is not an action RPG. It is a turn-based strategy like XCOM, and it's also kind of a roguelike, and it's also just really tough on your eyes. So I think it's kind of a cool idea. Maybe I would like to explore it a little bit more under different circumstances, but I'm out. I'm out on this one.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. The next one is called Mittelborg, City of Mages, playing this on the Switch. This is another really weird, oddball one where you play, I don't even know how to even explain it. Your whole entire game is one screen. You're looking at a city. The entire city is on your screen. It's like a city that floats in the clouds. And it's all like menu-based. And what happens is this city gets attacked by storms, different colored storms, and so you have to like fortify different parts of the city by diverting resources, kind of like a city manager a little bit. So you're like, okay, blue storm is coming in 3 days. I need to take some of my guardsmen and assign them over here, and I need to take some mill workers and assign them over here, and I need to get some repairmen and assign them over here. And you're kind of like moving people around on this map, single map, and then the storm comes, and then it tells you, we weathered the storm successfully, and we only took X amount of damage, or we did it poorly, and we took this, other amount of damage. And it's just kind of weird, like you're just fending off these storms, and you're just looking at this one city, and it's so bizarre. Like I was kind of interested to check it out because I'm always up for something weird. But again, just like with Othercide, the problem is it's really hard on the eyes. This is on the Switch again, and if you're trying to imagine an entire city being on the Switch screen, that's how small it is. And then the text is also incredibly small, very small. So I was struggling with just looking at it. And then on top of that, seems like the translation was not done by people who actually spoke English, and a lot of the tutorials were extremely confusing. I just couldn't understand what I was supposed to do effectively, and between that and like just straining my eyes like crazy trying to see what was going on, I'm like, okay, I'm out. It might be a cool game. It probably plays a lot better on PC, which is, I believe, where it's from, but it's one of those games that just got brought to the Switch and didn't really get ported to the Switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that happens a lot. I've been seeing that a lot, and I also saw online people were talking about the bad localization, which can really hurt a game unless it's funny, because then it's fun. But yeah, it just seems like it's not the right platform either for it. It definitely feels like, just from the screenshots, a PC game, a Steam game. Or, by the way, we don't mention this much on the show because I'm guessing you mostly play your Switch games in handheld mode. Am I right?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel like that we're doing a disservice to some of the Switch games then. I think I might buy a Switch Pro because I have or whatever the fuck it's called, the real Switch, because I have the Lite. And we probably should play some more games on the TV, I think.
I mean, I do sometimes. Like, sometimes the mood strikes me. I did this morning, in fact. But, I mean, to me, the real test is it visible when I'm in bed? Is it visible when I'm on the couch? If it only works when it's in handheld, I feel like that's a problem. And I feel like that people should really take that into consideration, right?
Oh, you mean only works in TV mode, you're saying? Or handheld? Which one?
Oh, did I misspeak myself? What I meant to say, sorry, my bad. My bad.
TV, yeah. If it only works in TV mode, then you should probably rethink why you even put it on the Switch.
Thank you for correcting me. Flip whatever I said. That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
You knew what I said, so thank you for reading my mind. But that's exactly what I meant. So, yes.
Same here.
Okay. Next one is one that's been getting a lot of hype. We have not talked about Carrion on the show yet, have we? Or have we?
We haven't. I think I already heard your thoughts on Twitter, but I'll listen again. And, of course, for the listeners. Carrion, the monster that I remember seeing, was it Devolver that puts it out?
Devolver Digital, yes, perfectly, yes.
I like a lot of the stuff they do, and I think I remember seeing like the original trailer was like a funny one where it was like kind of a monster killing people and stuff.
They've had great trailers for this game. Their trailer game was on point for this game.
Yeah, and so then I don't know about the game, so tell me, please.
So Carrion is the game where they're billing it as like this like quote unquote reverse horror game, which I think is kind of a silly title. But basically, instead of the scientists containing the escaped monster in the lab, you are the escaped monster in the lab, and you are eating the scientists that are trying to contain you. I love that idea. That idea is awesome to me. If you watch any of the trailers, like basically all of the official trailers are awesome for this game. They make this game look so fun. You're just like this big mass of like teeth and tentacles and eyeballs, and you're whipping all around the screen, and you're like tentacling dudes and munching on them, and blood's all over the place. It just looks like, if you like horror games or monsters and stuff, it just looks amazing. Like, it looks like so fun when you're watching the trailers. Actually playing the game, not fun. I totally, I got bored with this game, like, almost immediately. And the problem, I'll tell you what, the problem is, they made a great monster. The monster looks great, and this is like a 2D game, pixel game. But the problem is, they stuck this cool monster inside a boring-ass Metroidvania structure where the monster most of the time is trying to unlock doors, which is fucking not cool.
Monsters just smash doors.
Right? Like, you're totally coming up against these locked doors. You spend a lot of your time looking for these little things. You got switches to flip, and these other switches you got to pull, and there's all sorts of doors that you got to, open up and just to make progress. It's so boring. It is so boring. And also, to make it worse, is like, there's no map, and it's a Metroidvania, right? So, like, all of the levels basically look alike. They all are kind of like sciencey hallways, or there's like dirt and some bushes, and it's just, the levels are not very visually distinct, right? It seems like they poured all the resources into the monster, which looks fucking awesome. The monster looks amazing, but all the levels look the same. You have a very hard time navigating about where to go. I was constantly like going back to places I had already been, thinking that I was going someplace new, and I just kept getting turned around. And all I was doing is looking for switches to flip to open up like locked doors. And I'm like, this is such a colossal waste of a cool ass monster. And I thought I was going to be like, whipping around, eating guys and being scary, and people are going to be screaming and run away from me and stuff, which, it happens a little bit, but like, this is just a boring ass Metroidvania. And that's not what the trailers made it look like. And that's not what I signed up for. Did not finish this game. I thought this game was actually hella fucking boring. I was really disappointed.
Ooh, you got the hella fucking boring rating.
Oh, man. I'll tell you.
HFB. That's an HFB up in this bitch.
HFB. Slight tangent, dude. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you ever, I know you probably don't, but do you ever buy physical copies of indie games? Like from like limited run games or special edition or something like that?
Almost exclusively when I'm like which I don't know when I'm going to be back at, but like events, like PAX and stuff, that always have like those there somewhere, and I'm like a sucker, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I want that indie game box version. But if not, then no, not online usually.
I still like physical, and I buy a lot of indie games that are on physical. But usually, so here's the problem with how that works, right? Because when this stuff was just getting off the ground, when like limited run games and all these special edition, all these other places were getting off the ground, they were printing games that had already been out for like a while, right? Like they were doing like Downwell, and they were doing like Stardew Valley, and they were doing games where like you had played the game, like most likely you had been through the game, you knew you liked it, and you had good memories of that game, and you wanted like to have this physical memento, or you wanted to have some kind of keepsake or something. Mm-hmm. So that's a great way to do it. I really love when I have the chance to buy a game. Just recently there was a Papers, Please that came out, and I'm like, oh, I love Papers, Please. I would love to buy that game. But now more and more and more what's happening is they're launching the physical either before the download, or they're coming at exactly the same time as the download, which is a problem, because if there's only 5,000 copies of a game being made and you think you're going to like that game, but you don't have time to like go download the game and then play the game and then see if you like it, because by that time if you go back to order it, that game's already gone, because like they usually sell out like the first day, right?
Yeah.
So it's become this kind of thing where you're kind of taking your shots, you're gambling with it. And I've been pretty good lately, but I will say I got suckered. I thought for sure I was going to like Carrion, so I ordered the physical version.
Oh.
And I didn't have a chance to play it because I didn't want to get sold out, and I bought the thing, and it's like, I don't like this game at all. I think it's super boring.
Hey, you know what? We're doing a free episode. Put it in the pile.
Oh my god. Well, I've paid fucking full price for it, so I don't know I'm going to give it straight up away, but it's just, I wish that they wouldn't put out physical versions until people had a chance to try them first, because
right.
I just feel like they've got you over barrel. Do you want this or do you not? Do you want this or do you not? And if you're a collector like I am, you get that fear of like, well, if I don't buy it now, I'm not going to get a chance later. I'm going to have to pay double on the secondary market, and no one wants to do that. But man, I got snookered so hard, so I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, I was going to say, the other thing disappointing is just, and what I'm definitely learning when it comes to the new game I'm working on, level design is I want to say everything, but it's a lot. Especially if you're a side-scrolling 2D game.
Oh my god, it's king. You need to have amazing levels.
Yeah, and so because I just watched this talk from the people who made N+. I can't remember who that name is.
Oh yeah, and I love N+. I know who you're talking about, yes.
Yeah, they were doing a great talk for an hour, and I was watching all of it about level design and showing how they work their things. And similar to me, I literally will take a level, play test it, change one thing, play test it, change one thing, play test it. Like, that's what you got to do. See the fluidity of it. But for that, the monster's so cool, and like you said, it did come across as a cool monster. They just level design.
Oh, so boring. I could not believe there's no map, and everything just looks the same. And it's just, I'm sorry, but like when you're a mass of tentacles and mouths and eyes and you're killing dudes, the last thing you want to do is fuck around with like locked doors for half the game. Like, oh my god, like what a missed opportunity.
My god,
just,
I can't believe you can't just smash through a door. You're a monster.
Such a bummer, dude.
Okay.
Such a bummer. Okay, so that's Carrion. One more to go, and I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Last one I got to mention is called Radical Rabbit Stew. Played it on the Switch. It's also on PC. I think it's on everything right now. It is a very cute 2D little top-down puzzle game where you play like a chef, and he's got a giant spoon, so it's very cute and comical. And every rabbit in this game is a fucking asshole. Like, they're all just asshole rabbits. And what you got to do is you got to knock them into your stew pot. So I guess if you're a rabbit fan and you love furry bunnies, maybe don't play this one.
Oh, so you're killing rabbits.
You're making rabbits into stew.
Rabbits in the stew. It's in the name. It's in the name, Carl.
They tell you up front.
Rabbit stew. By the way, the key art for this is just a rabbit really pissed, like charging at you. So, you know.
These rabbits are dicks in this game. So basically, there's all sorts of rabbits. There's like the aggro rabbit that runs right at you. There's the sleepy rabbit where he's kind of like a roadblock. There's like I don't know, confused rabbit and sexy rabbit or whatever. There's like a bunch of rabbits.
There's
I don't
a
remember
sexy rabbit?
I may be making that one up.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But basically, they're kind of like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like old school puzzle games like Adventure of Lolo or like
oh, that's a callback.
That's a mega callback. I know.
Yeah.
People haven't even heard of that game.
No,
I'm so old. I'm
children are
games,
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. But it's a 2D top-down puzzle where you knock the rabbits around, you bash them with your giant spoon, and then they bounce off of things in the environment, and you got to like kind of like figure out what to bounce them off of in order to get them to ricochet into the stew pot. So it's very simple. Each level is like one screen. It's very cute. I actually like this one. I think this is a cute one. I'm not the greatest puzzle person. My brain doesn't really work that way, but I had fun with the part that I played. I do like it. And if you are a puzzle person, and it's a little bit on the action-y side, action-y puzzle, ricochet rabbit puzzle side, It's pretty cool. I did like it a lot. I'm chipping away at it like a level here and a level there, but they're already getting kind of tough for me. But I bet you if you're a puzzle person, you would not think it's hard. But for me, because I'm not good at these, it's kind of hard for me. So I do think it's cool, though. Radical Rabbit Stew, out of the group I just mentioned, is the one that I think is a pretty solid one.
Yeah, I looked at the art and I actually almost picked it up because of every once in a while I do like to just switch over to a puzzle mode. Your brain switches,
yeah.
you know. I would say it also looks like Bomberman in the art.
Yeah,
right?
yep.
And Bomberman, we haven't talked about on the show. I'm not sure, but I have many stories. We'll get into that some other day. I love Bomberman, and it looks like the one-player version. So, like in the one-player version, you actually like are trying to solve the puzzles a little bit and know what to blow up. It feels like that. And then, secondly, you did an old school callback. I want to do an old school callback. Ready for this?
Oh shit, ready.
Boxy Boy.
Oh man. Yes.
You know, right?
Yes.
It was on.
Absolutely.
I think it was on. Shit, was it on the Game Boy? I think there was a version.
I think it was on the Game Boy. Yeah.
Game Boy, and there was a game like that too for the TurboGrafx that I also played. And yeah, it's just that push pull kind of figure it out. It looks cool.
Yeah, so it's cute. Radical Rabbit Stew is a thumbs up if you like puzzles, and it's kind of action puzzle. It's really cute. I like it. The rest of these games, not so much a thumbs up, but there you go. Thank you for bearing with me. Those are my giant wad of contractually obligated to mention games. Let's turn it back over to you, Carlos. I've been talking for a million years. Everreach Project Eden. I don't know anything about this other than the key art kind of makes it look like Mass Effect, and I think it came out on Xbox One a while ago. I looked at it for like a second, didn't pull the trigger, but it sounds like maybe you did.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention Mass Effect. Literally, what my summary for this game is, it's a mini Mass Effect.
Mini Mass Effect sounds pretty good. Is it good?
It's okay. It's so here, let me set you up. It's by Elder Games, but that just means a fancy name for a company. It's one guy.
Okay.
So it's one guy with some freelancers. I have a lot of friends who do that as well, and I might even do that as well, actually. At some point, you finish the core game, you got a lot of stuff done, but you need a little bit more art, or you need, some sound effects or whatever, and you work with freelancers to finish it. That's pretty common, I think. So I cut this guy 1,000,000 pounds of slack, before I even started it, because I was like, "You're one guy, and you're working on a mini Mass Effect game, like." Let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's a tall order for this dude. He must have dreams, right?
And I think he hit a lot of the dreams, man. Like, so yeah, you play as a woman who goes down to the planet. The planet itself is supposed to be worked on for like rich people and essentially like, what's the word? Terraformed,
sure.
Yeah, like it's going to be one of these planets that's habitable, and they're going to turn it into like a bunch of companies own stock in the planet, and you're going down to kind of just check it out, investigate what's going on. But you find that there's kind of some mutiny going on and some factions around, and people and drones are attacking things and stations when they shouldn't be. So you've got to figure it out. But you're also like, have military abilities, and you're obviously really good at shooting with your gun. So you have that going for you. And so you land, and you've got to like figure out what's going on and shoot a bunch of drones, shoot a bunch of bad guys, and figure out what's going on. At the same time, you have like a little robot who's, comic relief, and some of it's funny, some of it's not. And, they're going around with you, kind of just telling you about the planet, and you see weird little monsters, and you're kind of like learning about the planet as well. And the biggest problem is right off the bat, the sensitivity is fucked. Like it's way too, the camera angle where you're trying to like aim your gun or just look around is like super, super fast. So you can change that. And I did, and it helped me a lot. But in general, aiming is still pretty rough because when you're aiming, there's no lock on. And without a lock on and with kind of not great controls, it makes shooting things kind of difficult.
Okay.
And so that's the biggest problem because the graphics are, doable. Like it's nothing to write home about, but it fits. It feels like a mini Mass Effect game. It's like all the animations aren't there, but enough of them are. The world and the weird planet looks pretty good. And the shooting's just a little tough. And I'm being generous there because sometimes it's really bad.
It sounds like you're being very generous. I'm listening to the tone of your
generous.
voice and the words you're choosing, and it sounds like you're being extremely generous.
I am,
right now.
because here's what I'm going to say, and I think a bunch of other reviews said this, and I agree with all of them as well. Again, when it's a one person, and and some other people, you cut us some slack, but also like it gets enough right. So basically, I was in the mood for Mass Effect, and I was like, "This does look like a mini Mass Effect," and it was, and it is, and it's only I think 7 hours long or 8 hours long, and I'm about like 3 hours in, and I don't want it to be. I would love it to be a 20-hour game because certain times we've talked about this in the show many times. You're just in the mood for a certain type of game, and I miss Mass Effect, and I'm realizing that there are like a handful of genres that I love. And I think you learn that as you play a bunch of games. For you, it's the strategy games. For me, it's open world. But specifically, it's a sci-fi open world game. I love those. And so that's why I loved Mass Effect Andromeda. And I'll stand to this day. I'll say that same thing. I finished it, loved every minute of it, because I'm craving a sci-fi open world game. So I will like look past some of the problems. And so that's the same thing happened with this. I was like, okay, that shit is kind of whack though. But did I kill a bunch of guys and find out some new experiments and like find out these monsters and learn about the lore and get a sci-fi thing going on? Yep. And that's all I needed. I mean, the game's cheap too, right? I forgot, $15, something like that.
So what would you say? Because I looked at this and like I said, I almost pulled the trigger. I didn't for whatever reason. And I guess so. A couple things. I remember one of our guys. I'm pretty sure it was AJ Small at Game Critics who reviewed this, and I don't know, that might not be right. It might be Michael Pren. I apologize, guys. It's hard to keep 1,000 reviews straight in my head. So if I mix you up, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure that some of the feedback on this game was that the combat was really tough. Like it got really bullet spongy. There wasn't a lot of skills or weapons, and it was kind of placeholder combat that they ended up rolling with for the final version. Do you feel like the combat is really tough? Is there too much of it? Is it a barrier to your enjoyment, or how is the combat?
No, it's just the aiming's bad. Like the aiming
Just
has
the
to
aiming.
get. Yeah, if they had a lock on, and by the way, he can patch it. I know he can. I'm rooting for this guy. I don't know. I did not look up his name, so maybe you can, because I keep just saying hit this guy. But I am rooting for him because it's enough. It delivers enough of that little bit of story, a little bit of comedy. Some of it fucks up, but he's trying, and some of it's pretty funny. And a little bit of sci-fi, what's happening on this planet. It's enough for me, man. I mean, I would give this game an 8 pretty much. If I'm like, that's how I'm feeling it. Because even with the kind of whack controls, to answer your question, no, it's not too hard. It's just like you basically are it's a lot of stealth shooting, if you know what I mean by that.
Like you are sniping guys before you get into like a big firefight?
Kind of like not sniping, but you're like, yeah, there's a bullet spongy kind of like a health meter, but it's not. It didn't feel like Sword Art Online. It's more like you just have to aim, be kind of in cover, and then take out something. You can't like rush into things. You know what I mean?
So like very cautious.
Yes.
Not just like blast away, but thoughtful shooting, so you don't get
right. It
overwhelmed
almost
sort
felt
of
like
thing.
it felt like a strategy in that way. Like I felt like, okay, I'm gonna hide behind this cover, get these 3 enemies, go do this, get some ammo, because you're kind of running out of ammo a lot. And by the way, the person who said there's no skills is insane, because there's like 150 skills you can upgrade, like literally.
Okay, maybe I got my wires crossed. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But I remember this had. The combat was sketchy, too much combat, and they said it felt like it got really hard at the end, like it was unbalanced. So maybe, that was like a year ago. Maybe it's been patched and balanced since then.
Right. But I didn't get to the end, so I can't talk to that. I just say this again: it's mediocre combat. It's not like there's lots of issues with it, and I think he might be able to patch it. But it did what I needed. It was like, here's a little mini Mass Effect. That's great. Also, though, there is some vehicle moments, like vehicle levels. And those controls are whack, like straight up whack. And I don't think he had like the right, person helping with that or something. But it's just way too floaty, and you end up crashing and stuff. So yeah, it's a good first try. I appreciate him.
Excellent. I looked it up. His name is Eddie Tarsoli, and he is the person who is the heart and soul of Elder Games. So it sounds like this is his vision that you are playing through.
Dude,
right
Eddie,
now.
I'm gonna tweet you after the show and be like, I got nothing but love for you, because
man, talk about it setting your goals high, right? Like shooting for the stars on this one.
It's a whole Mass Effect game, you know what I mean? Like, and it even did like multiple, like you could do like side quests and stuff. In a game like this, it's like you'd think he'd just be able to pull off the main storyline, but like there's additional stuff. I don't know. It's fun, man. It's a fun
Well,
little rock.
when we reviewed it at Game Critics, that cooled me off a fair amount, and I kind of forgot about this game. But it sounds like you're finding some fun, and I certainly am a person who can find fun in a broken game or a janky game. I mean, I can look at an experience and find the good if there is good to be had. So you're kind of like selling me on this one again. Maybe I'll go back and check it out.
All right, and I'll let you know when if he updates and stuff like that, because feel like if he just added lock on, the thing is going to be a killer app.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. That was Everreach Project Eden. Now, we are going to talk about the game that got me to go back to PC. We talked about it last episode. You know that I don't play PC games. I never play PC games.
Never play PC games.
Never play PC games. Very, very rare indeed. So it's going to take something pretty unusual to get me to go to PC. So here we are talking about it now. I'm going to satisfy your curiosity. I'm sure you've already been spoiled because I tweeted about it a bunch once
I'm not on Twitter.
Oh, you're not on Twitter. Have you not been spoiled yet?
Nope, I don't know what you're going to tell you. I don't know.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, that'll be fine. I hadn't been talking about it at first because I wanted to keep it under wraps. I wanted to surprise you. But also, I was working on a review at that time, so I didn't want to talk about it too much before my review went up. But my actual full written review of this game is up at Game Critics. And if you go to Metacritic, I am literally the only critic on Earth who has a Metacritic review for this game. If you go look it up, it's just me. I am the person who defines this game's Metacritic score. It is all up to me. So that was pretty fun moment. This game is called Max Gentleman Sexy Business. Have you heard of it?
What? No, I have not.
I was listening to the Gamers with Jobs podcast. Do you know those guys? You listen to them?
Yeah.
I love that podcast. Their tastes don't often line up with mine, but the thing that I love is they talk about a lot of games, and they always have this rotating cast of people, and they're always talking about the most current games. Like whenever I want to know what's up this week or what's up last week, want to hear about what's new and interesting, they've always got somebody talking about the latest thing, which is what I really like when I listen to a podcast. So Amanda Knowlton, who is the current host, I believe, brought this game up, and she just really sold me on it. Like I never go to PC games, even when people say they're really cool. I just don't care. But this one really got me because it sounded so interesting and different. So thank you to Amanda Knowlton for not just to me. I mean, she recommended it to like all the listeners, but I was one of the listeners. So, whatever. Thanks for recommending it, Amanda. So what this game is, it is an adults only game. I'll say that up front. So this is sexy, nakedness, a lot of adult content in it. So heads up on that.
It's in the title, Sexy Business.
They tell you up front. They just like Radical Rabbit Stew tells you it's about stew and rabbits. This game is about sexy business.
Yeah.
No nonsense. So what this game is, it is kind of like it's two parts. First part is an economic simulator where you are trying to regain a fortune that has been stolen from you by doing business. And the other half of this is kind of like a dating simulator / visual novel a little bit. So what happens is you look at a screen. The computer monitor is a town. Looks like an old-timey English town, and there's buildings across the screen. Like one building is a bank, and one building is like a barbershop, and one building is like the slums, and there's a couple other buildings. And so it's kind of like a clicker or an idle game where you have a number of employees that work for you, and you use your mouse, you click on one employee, and you send them to a place. Like you pick a person, you send them to the bank, and they just start generating money. Like it's just passive, right? Like you're not doing anything. You're just clicking them, go here to the bank, and they start making money. You click on a person, go here to the barbershop and get yourself trimmed, and it increases one of their stats. So like you're just kind of placing people on the map and watching this bar go up in kind of like cookie clicker, cow clicker, idle fashion. So that's the first part of the game. And that part I think is actually pretty fun, deceptively fun, because even though it's pretty passive in some ways, you're also kind of playing beat the clock because you have a certain amount of time in order to beat the game. And so you have to kind of min-max your strategy about, if I put this person here, they can earn money faster than this person. And if I send this person here, they can level up a little bit. And if I level them up first, then they're going to earn money a lot faster if they do this other thing. So there's a lot of like juggling employees around and figuring out who's best where. And they also get tired. And so like when they earn a certain amount of money, they get tired. You got to take them off the board, replace them with somebody else. So you're constantly like juggling your employees around, which sounds kind of like busy work and it sounds kind of dry, but it actually ended up being really fun. And I think that's really one of the things that made this game stand out to me was like the game part was actually pretty fun. Like there's a legit game in here, which is pretty cool. But the other half of that is the adult only dating simulator part. So the employees that you have that you send out to these buildings are also people that you can date. The game offers you 6 men and 6 women to choose from. And I will say also that when you start the game, you do the character creator, you can be a man or a woman, or you can be a trans man, or you can be a trans woman. So they give you lots of choices. You can mix and match, do whatever you want, and create your own character, which I think is cool. Like they definitely have like an eye towards the LGBTQ community, which is great. Like if you want to play a certain way, you can play a certain way. And the game also doesn't discriminate. Like if you want to date anybody, like there's no limitations. Like the men can date whoever they want to date, the women can date whoever they want to date. There's no, gender construct or anything. It's like whoever you like is who you can chase. So you hire whatever employees you want, and you have them like make the money for you, and they do the stuff in the idle clicker side. But then after a while, you'll get these events that'll pop up, and it'll be like, oh, would you like to take so and so on a date? And if you do, they ask you questions, and you can answer the questions. And when you build up enough of like a little love meter that builds up in the corner, they'll be like, oh yeah, they want to go on a special date with you, and then you get to go on their little like companion quest sort of a thing. Each person out of the 12 has like a multi-step companion quest where you get to know them a little bit better. And at first you're just like, friends or like professional relationship, but then you go a little further and then it's like, oh, you're flirty. And then you just keep going with that. And then eventually it's like, oh, it's sexy. And you can eventually like the goal of this is to go through the stories. And I will say that the stories for each character really well written. They're really like genuinely funny. I really like the writing in this game a lot. I laughed out loud multiple times. They don't pull any punches. There's a lot of like adult only humor and a lot of like really risque things that happen. So I think it's really cool and fun in that sense. If you're a mature adult who is not like embarrassed or shy about these things, if you don't mind a little, sex jokes or stuff like that, I think the writing is really fun. Like I really enjoyed getting to know the characters. Everybody has this very distinct personality. They all stand out in different ways. And it was really fun to go on all the different relationship quests with them and see how it was going to build and what it would lead to. There's all these little, weird left turns and surprises that pop up. And the whole thing is just like, none of it is serious at all. Like it's just totally for laughs, really light, really fun, just joke. And like, it's not heavy at all. And that was really what I wanted. That's kind of what sold me on it, was because, I've been playing a lot of games where I'm just like killing stuff and things are dark and it's all really grim and the world outside is really grim. And I just needed like a break, right? I needed something totally different. And playing this was like a total breath of fresh air, where it's like, it's just super fun, jokes, nothing's too heavy, nothing's taken seriously. It's really sexy. And as you go along in the game, you unlock different outfits. They get like more and more revealing, as I'm sure you can imagine. Each person's quest eventually, like when you get to the final date, ends up like with sexy times. There's no visual graphic sex. It's all just like text descriptions. But those do get pretty graphic, and you can also have the people be like pretty naked or totally naked in certain parts. So there's definitely like quite a bit of skin and a lot of nudity. But I will say, if you're interested in this game for the humor or for the economic side, all of the really spicy stuff, like the being totally naked and some of the sexual content, is actually, as a patch, kept out of the game. So if you go to Steam and buy this game, it'll be like Max Gentleman Sexy Business, standard version. You buy that, and it'll be, there'll be a little bit of spice in there, but it's not adults only spice. But you have to go and like download the adults only patch, which is also on Steam. Once you patch that in, it like unlocks all the other stuff. So like you can't accidentally get all the hardcore stuff, like you have to go out of your way to not only download the patch, get the patch, but then you also have to like go into the menu settings and crank up all the settings to like, do you want this game to be max sexy? Yes or no? Yes, I do. You have to click the settings. So they really go out of their way to like make sure you're not like stumbling into like naked people or any kind of sex if you don't want it, because I do think that's a cool idea. I think a lot of games would really benefit from that, where there's something good about the game, but maybe you don't want the sex part, so it's optional, and I think that's great. Giving people options is always really good. So I downloaded everything, cranked everything up to the max, saw the whole thing from A to Z. Definitely adult AF for sure. I would never want any of my kids near this. But for grown-ass people of any persuasion or gender or whatever, I think this was really fun. I had a really great time with it. I enjoyed it all the way through. There's going to be some DLC with 2 new characters coming out soon, which I'm really looking forward to. I will jump back in and do those 2 new characters because I just want more of that comedy, more of that writing. It was just a really good time and really fun to play. So this was a great way for me to, I guess, break my PC drought. I had a really great time with it, and it was really fun.
Okay, I have many thoughts.
Okay.
Just a few. First off, I was looking at the art on Steam, and there's one scene that says it's lunchtime, but they're also giving a guy a massage.
Yeah,
a lunchtime massage, but it actually shows you little hands.
As you do.
Yeah, you have to actually like do, I guess, the motions or whatever.
It's one of the mini games, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there seems like there's mini games, which is interesting, as well as a bunch of visual novel type stuff. It doesn't seem like it gets super graphic. Obviously, they're not going to show me everything on Steam page, but from your description, it doesn't sound like it gets very graphic either. More just kind of like talking about stuff with naked people. It seems
very
like.
talky. They talk about it a lot, and people are definitely like naked as hell. Like people are totally naked. You know, guys, girls, full frontal. Like you'll see absolute nudity, but there's no. This is not like a hentai tentacle game. Like there's no like crazy penetration or weird upside down camera shots or anything. It's not that kind of nudity.
Which leads me to my next question. There's a lot of art. I do not see you liking this art at all.
I actually do like the art. I do.
Really? I think okay. Because normally we've played games and it's had art that's similar to this, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of iffy, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm like, I'm out because of this art. I'm very, very surprised that that this is the game that broke your PC drought. Not that I don't like it, but it's just a very interesting one for you to pick. And then B, I just thought you wouldn't like this art at all.
No, I actually do like this art. I think it's pretty cute, and I think it's stylized enough to where it's got my interest. They're very cartoony. I mean, they're kind of like...
Right, they're not sexy time in my mind. Like, I feel like it takes a special... there's certain types of people who like people like furries, right?
Right.
You're like, I get that, in my mind, that's sexy to me, right? So this art for me personally, just not even playing the game, like I can never get a sexy feel. So that's why it's interesting.
They do a good job with it because, I mean, if like, I'm not looking at the Steam page now, but I know what you're talking about. If you just look at it, like, it doesn't jump out at you as something that seems like really like hardcore porno or hentai or whatever. Like, it seems kind of, I mean, I don't want to say quaint, but kind of a little bit quaint and kind of
cartoony.
A little bit.
It's very cartoony.
Yeah, kind of cartoony. Yeah. So yeah, they do a good job with it though. Like, I think that the nudity that is in the game is pretty graphic, and I think that if you want to see naked folks, like, you're definitely going to see some naked folks, and I think they do a good job. Like, it fits the game.
It's fine, and I'm not like taking it down because I haven't even played it, but I'm going to go on a very weird tangent now because there's no way that we can't get a weird tangent out of Max.
This entire thing is weird.
Gentleman, sexy business. But I think what's turning me off, right? If there was, I don't know if I've ever been turned on at this podcast, but I know that I've officially been turned off because I remember like, and this is okay. This maybe. This is an adults only portion of the podcast, but let's say you're looking for some sexy time stuff on the internet.
Sure.
As you might do. And I've done that. And then sometimes when you don't want it, almost all the time when you don't want it, you might get some sexy time cartoons. And every freaking time I've seen sexy time cartoons, let's say one of them is with The Simpsons. It seems like a lot of them are with the fucking Simpsons. I'm like,
People got problems in this country, man.
Yeah, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want sexy time Simpsons, which, by the way, is the name of this episode. Write that down.
Sexy time Simpsons.
And I don't want sexy time Family Guy. I don't want any of the sexy time cartoons. And so this game, I'm out. Because I don't want sexy time with my cartoons, Brad Galloway. I've been burned.
I don't blame you because I know exactly what you're talking about, and that is something that I definitely try to stay away from as well. But I think it just goes really well with like the humor and like how like non-serious this game is, and even when you get into the sexiest of the sexy parts, it's still goofy. Like, it's really funny. Like, it just hit that tone for me where it's like, yeah, you like to see naked breasts, and I'm like, I sure do. But you also like to laugh, and I'm like, yeah, I also like to laugh as well. And it's like it finds that good happy medium where you're not coming to this just for like whack material. You're coming to this because you like the jokes or you like the writing, and actually the gameplay is really great. I thought the gameplay was really fun. So if you want like the hardcore serious stuff, I mean, that stuff is out there, or you can just like straight up just Google that stuff. But for what they were going for, I thought it was really, really well done, and I think I really admire that they made an actual game and didn't just have an excuse to like show some cartoon boobs or whatever. Like, doing a quick scan of Steam, because I was like, oh, this game was super fun. Did they make anything else? Like, what else is there that's kind of in the same boat? And I don't see very much at all that's in the same boat, because a lot of the stuff that's on Steam in the adults only section, not that I'm an expert or anything, I just started playing PC like 2 weeks ago, but is like, it just seems like this is the bullshit crappiest thing that we could quote unquote call a game, and it's just some excuse to show you poorly drawn hentai pictures or something.
Right.
Where it's like, why are you even bothering? Why don't you just go Google that stuff?
Right.
If I'm gonna like play a game, I want there to actually be a game in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I played a game like that for this, like one of my like cheap and free PC indie games, and it was like, you know, hentai anime big boob girl like fights Hitler, and the gameplay itself was absolute rubbish, and it was just because they want to do that. Two things. One, you totally made a good point, and I think that is a relevant point, that it's like it's kind of comical with sexy, which is a totally different thing than what I was like, you know, scarred by, which is just Simpsons porn. And then secondly,
which is horrifying. Let's be honest,
the words are horrifying. And by the way, whoever makes that, stop it. Okay, just stop it.
Yeah,
for the 18 people you're
bad.
making it for. And then secondly, I think we should. I just wrote its note down. I think we should do an adults only like section, or at least like cover that stuff on this podcast. Who the fuck else is doing that?
I mean, that would be fine with me. I maybe people listening can recommend games that are solid that have some adult content. I mean, I'm definitely a newbie when it comes to this stuff. It seems like it's all on PC because nothing like this ever hits console. So if anybody out there is listening and has expertise in this, please let us know. We would like to maybe do a couple segments on this or talk about it some.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a section. You know, when you just said there was a section, I had no idea that's even a thing on Steam. So
yeah, if you get, well, I didn't even know it either, but after I bought the game, after hearing it on the podcast, it's like, oh, we recommend these other things based on the thing that you just bought, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so they picked like I think one of the tags was like LGBTQ tag, and there was a tag that was like adults only, and a tag that was like sexual content. So if you click on any of those, it just takes you to the page where like all of those things with the same tags are like all on the page. And so there's all these like, you know, there's like 2,000 other games. And I mean, just from my quick cursory glance, it looked like 1,900 of them were pure garbage.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's very much gameplay to be had there. But if anybody knows of any adult adjacent or adult friendly game that actually has like some gameplay in it, I would be interested in hearing about that. Sounds like you would be interested as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a little research now after this
Excellent.
show. And by the way, the developer, we didn't even talk about them. They're called The Men Who Wear Many Hats.
Yeah, you know, I looked into them. They've actually done a game before this called Max Gentleman, which has nothing sexy in it. I guess it's like a game where you wear multiple hats, like you're trying to balance hats on a guy's head or something. And before that, these guys made Oregon Trail, not Oregon Trail, but Oregon Trail, the one where you're crossing the country on a road trip with zombies, which I played, which to be frank was not a great game. But I did play it and I bought it on PS4, so I'm like, oh, I actually know these guys' work. I've done some of their games before, so that was interesting. I think this is definitely their best thing so far, though. Max Gentleman, sexy business. Really sexy, really funny, a really good time. It's approachable. It only uses the mouse, so if you're terrible with mouse and keyboard like I am, it's very easy to play. And I had the greatest time with it. I thought it was just the greatest breath of fresh air. It was exactly what I needed after playing so many grim and gritty, and just as like a nice break from reality. So cool. I enjoyed it a lot. One more game to talk about, and then we're going to talk about We Should Talk, which is actually the final game of the show, which is weird because we're already talking, but we should talk about We Should Talk
some more
in a second.
Minute, yeah.
Quick shout out goes to a game I'm currently playing called Nowhere Profit. It's on, I believe, every system, but I'm playing it on the Switch in handheld mode. It is a great fit for handheld. As a matter of fact, I actually emailed the publisher of this game, Mike Rose over at No More Robots. What's up, Mike? And I said, hey, I'm interested in your game, but I'm not interested in wrecking my eyeballs with small text. Is this game actually decent on the Switch? And he's like, we actually went out of our way to make sure that this game was readable on Switch. I'm going to send you a code and you tell me what you think. And he did. So full disclosure. And it was good. I think that the text it's been adjusted. And so it looks good and nice and readable and clear in handheld mode on Switch. So props to Mike Rose and No More Robots for making sure that got done. Thumbs up. Really appreciate it. This is a roguelike deck building game, which also has narrative story elements. If you're familiar with Slay the Spire, it's got a lot in common with Slay the Spire. Or people are telling me it's got a lot in common with Monster Train. I haven't played Monster Train yet. Also kind of similar to something like Meteor Fall or any of the console deck builders. There's a few out there. Thronebreaker perhaps is another good one to compare it to. Basically, you start out in a post-apocalyptic land. You get this like satellite crashing in front of you. Satellite from the sky. It's got like an AI on board the satellite, and it talks to you in your brain, and it says digital code, whatever, computer gobbledygook, but we need you to get to this place to do something super important, and I can't tell you any more about it because I'm a satellite and I just crashed. So you get this message in your head, and you want to go from the start of your adventure, which is like you're out in the wasteland, and you want to get to like this technology vault, which is like way super far away. And so you travel across a little map screen where there's little nodes on the map, and every time you hit a node, there's like a fight, or there's like a story event or something. And the thing that makes Nowhere Profit great is because the developers did not just make a really solid deck building game, which I think the gameplay here is great. I love the gameplay. But they also really took the time to develop a whole story and a world and a lot of flavor that really elevates this game past other experiences that are like it. Like Slay the Spire is great. I love Slay the Spire. The gameplay is really fun, but there's no world to it. Like there's no lore to it. It's just like you're doing these levels, you're climbing a tower. You don't really know why. It doesn't really even matter because it's all about the gameplay. So I feel like that's a missed opportunity. But in this game, they take the same quality of gameplay, but also give you like a reason. Like you have a mission, you want to get to this place, you want to go there, and it all ties into the whole systems of the game, where your cards are actually also people, and you are like the leader, you're like the prophet of these people, and so they believe in you and they want to join you on your mission. So as you collect more cards, you're also collecting more followers, and as you go through the narrative choices in this game, you'll have these little text pop-ups that say, oh, you know, you see 3 people walking on the road and they look like really rough when they're thirsty. Do you ignore them? Do you attack them? Do you help them? And whatever you pick will give you like points as to like, oh, you're an altruist, or you're heartless, or you're whatever. Like it'll give you these various points, and that will affect the choices that you make in the future, because some choices are not choosable unless you have enough points in a certain aspect. And also it'll like affect people if they want to join you. Like more people will join you if you're a certain way, or less people will join you, and that sometimes translates into more cards, which then that translates into a better deck when you get to the combat. So the whole thing is just like really holistic and connected, which I think is just a brilliant idea. As far as the gameplay goes, I really like it a lot. It's similar to a lot of other deck builders where you pick and choose the cards that go in your deck. Each one has an attack and a defense value. You've got a certain amount of power points. I mean, it's pretty standard, but the way that it uses the characters is great, because if you use one of these cards and they get injured, they get taken out of the match, and if you use them again, they die. So you have to kind of be careful with your people, because your people are also your cards, and if you throw them away without any care, you're going to end up with a deck with no cards in it, and then you're fucked. You might as well just have to start over then.
It's not like the game you talked about, Othercide, where you're like just getting rid of people.
No, not at all. Like you really care about these people, and sometimes you get like tiny little bits of story with certain cards. Most of them don't. They're just like they have a face and a name, and they're randomly generated. So like you kind of attach your own mental stories to them. But once in a while, you'll get like one card who will like help you out in a narrative mission, or sometimes you'll be able to make a cool choice because this one card has this aspect that lets you make the choice. So some of the cards stand out, but most of them are just cards, but they are also people. So I constantly was going into a match, a couple of my cards, slash people would get injured. I would take them out of my deck because I didn't want them to die, which kind of forced me to like constantly cycle through my deck and change up how it played. So it kept the gameplay fresh every cycle that I played. And it just was just really thoughtful, well designed, well balanced. Everything about this game I feel like is just on point. They really took a look at all aspects of this game. Everything makes sense, everything is connected, and on top of it all, the artwork is amazing.
The artwork's really good. That's one of my favorite things.
Oh my god, it's killer artwork. They call it dust punk, I guess, where it's like wasteland, cyberpunk, but there's also a real strong like Indian, as I mean like East Indian influence. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's the creator or the artist or something, but wherever they're getting the influence from, like this game looks great. Like I love the bold colors, semi-abstract, like the portraits are just wonderful. So like everything about Nowhere Profit is just fucking on point. This is absolutely one of my favorite games of the year so far. If you like roguelike deck builders, if you like just deck builders in general, but you want something a little bit better, you want a little bit of story to it, you want a little bit more motivation. Oh man, I mean this game is like my shit. So Nowhere Profit is great. Absolute recommendation.
I have a question. So I looked at it. I love the art. I knew what it was. I'm more difficult to get me on board with a deck builder, especially a deck builder that's roguelike. Put them both together. Usually I'm out.
Double poison for Carlos.
Double poison for me usually. Although I like Slay the Spire and I liked Hand of Fate a lot.
Oh yeah.
So there's moments where I like, again, story attached with card building and like Thronebreaker and stuff. Things can get me in. So I would ask you, am I going to have a hard time with the difficulty of like, did you mentioned earlier on Othercide, like you were essentially grinding a lot. Do you feel grinding? Do you feel like you kind of failed and you get to the end of the little map thing you were talking about a lot?
Well, so here's one thing that I like. Like a run from start to finish is I want to say maybe like 2 hours, which is very perfect. That's a great time to have a run. I feel like sometimes in other deck builders it just takes way too long, and especially like with something like Slay the Spire, where I felt like I really liked the game, but it got kind of torturous after a while. This one has a very good length. You can pause at any point, and I feel like at the beginning when you're learning the systems, it does feel just like a tiny bit overwhelming. But every time that I died, I felt like I genuinely learned more about what I was doing, and then once I finally figured out all the systems and how they all came together, I felt like I had mastery of it, right? So like I knew I was making very intentional choices. I was very careful about what I was doing. And I did beat the game with the starting character. I think there are 6 characters altogether. So I did manage to beat the game. There's an easy, medium, and hard. There's also other options that you can toggle on and off. There's also a separate mode. If you don't want to do the campaign mode, you can do a custom mode where you can like start with way more money or start with like way more health, and you can like toggle these things on and off to actually customize it, where if you just want to play the game, you can make it like way easier on yourself, or more challenging if you like. So I love that they give you those options, and I feel like there's a lot more. They go out of their way to kind of meet the player where the player is at, rather than forcing the player to get on board with where they're at, which I feel like is the best way to go. So if you are concerned about the difficulty, I would not be too concerned about it, because I felt like it was very reasonable on the standard campaign mode, and then you can go to the separate mode and make even more choices. But you do have to learn a little bit. The systems are a little bit unusual in some ways, and if you're not super familiar with deck builders, you may have to puzzle things through. But I felt like the learning curve was great, and by the time I learned it, I felt like I really learned it, and I was getting better every time.
All right, yeah, that's a good answer, and that's an answer that I can get behind, because like, especially if there's a little bit of like toggling of difficulty, as well as once you figure something out, you're better at it, and I like that. Not just like you're gonna have to grind, bullshit.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And there's no reason to grind either way. You don't get anything from grinding, so there's no incentive whatsoever to grind in this game.
right. Okay, I am interested. I'm turned around a little bit.
All right, so that is Nowhere Profit. I will definitely be talking about that in December when we talk about the best games of the year. I love this game so much. Really, really, really good. But that is Nowhere Profit. Let's talk about the last game of the show. We should talk. Carlos, we were sent codes for this game, full disclosure, both you and I, because the publisher wanted us to talk about this on the show, which is what we're doing right now. It is a narrative indie game where the whole game is about talking. You play a woman in a bar, and she's texting her partner back home, and she's also talking to 2 guys in the bar, and you can kind of change the dialogue. Each sentence you get has words that can be swapped in and out, so you can kind of change the intent, change the goal of what they're talking about. That's the bare bones. I played this, you played this, let's talk about it. Carlos, starting with you, what did you think about We Should Talk?
Yeah, we should talk about it. Developer name, by the way? Forgot it.
I'm going to look it up while you're talking.
You look it up. Yeah, it's a choose your own adventure type game, right? Which I'm a big fan of. Full disclosure, I guess. Worked on a bunch of choose your own adventure games when I was at Big Fish. I really love the platform. I love that kind of storytelling, and I like multiple endings. So that part is cool. For some reason, also, you're in a bar and all of the music is like 90s R&B. And I actually love 90s R&B, so it's perfect. But it was weird because I think all of it was made for the game. I feel like they're like original songs. And sometimes they're a little too lovey-dovey, but most of the time they're pretty chill. And it reminded me of a tangent that I want to go on. No one knows who I'm talking about now, but New Edition, Tevin Campbell, Groove Theory.
I know what you're talking about. I do.
Okay. Some older people know that, but that kind of stuff is what it reminded me of, like this really chill, old school, like R&B music. So that was funny. That was the soundtrack. Yeah, you talk to your partner on on your smartphone, and she's texting, and you're trying to just. It is she, right?
Yeah, your main character is a woman. Your partner back home is also a woman.
Yep.
But you're talking to 2 guys in the bar. One is like an ex, and one is like.
One is ridiculous.
I didn't pursue that particular guy, but apparently he like saw you on like Tinder or something, the equivalent or something like that. I didn't.
No, he messed up. He thought you were someone else, and you weren't.
Oh, was it a mistake? Okay.
And in the beginning, you can just like be like, "Okay, fuck off, dude," or you can be like, "Well, I'm not the person you think, but also what's up?
Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
sure if you were actually legit on Tinder or not. I kind of didn't talk to that guy very much, but
No, no, I didn't either. And by the way, this is interesting, and we'll get to this at the end of our in quotes review. But I didn't finish it, and I'll explain why in a minute. But yeah, you basically talk to your partner. You're texting her. You talk to the bartender in the beginning. Then you start talking to your ex, who you didn't think you'd see for a while. Then you talk to this weird guy who thinks you're somebody else. And you can, like you said, you can pursue or basically shoo away pretty much all the people. Like you can tell your partner, hey, I'm at the bar drinking late, kind of just like, it's cool, but maybe I'll see you tomorrow, and like
maybe
the
I
difference.
won't.
Yeah, maybe I won't. The difference of what you're picking is pretty, stark contrast sometimes. Like
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm just out and I'll eat with you later. Or it's like, oh, I'm out drinking, I'll see you tomorrow. And like, as you know, there's a text etiquette, and there's text fights because I know I've had them. And you go, if you say I'm gonna be there to like, we'll hang out tomorrow, that's like a diss, right? Because she said
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
like I'm gonna have food with you later, right? And you're like, yeah, I think we'll hang out tomorrow. What the fuck's wrong?
Yeah,
And
if you're telling somebody don't wait up on text, that's not a good sign.
right, right. So there's a lot of that going on. In the beginning, I was a little frustrated with Sam because I was like, Sam, I'm trying to like get my chill on over here at the bar. And
Which one is Sam? Remind me. Is that your guy? Is that your character, or who is
that's
that?
your partner, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. Your partner's
yeah.
name's Sam. That's right.
And I was like, Sam, you're blowing me up here, and I really just want to chill out with a drink. So I tried to shut her down a bunch, and she just kept texting. But on a TMI, too real moment, I do text way too much. So I was like, maybe I'm seeing what I'm like. You know what I mean? I was like, oh shit, I have a problem. So this game taught me a lot about myself.
Interesting. Okay.
Besides that, you choose different things, and like we just said, the way that you're going to deal with the people that you're talking to. But this is a short game, made by, I'm sure, a pretty small developer, and there's only a few different outcomes, I guess, you can have. I didn't finish the game because there's no saving, and that sucks shit. So
There's no saving? Huh.
yeah, maybe put an update in there in your patch to just have like, I don't know, one S button that you hit and it goes save, because I was like, oh, I'll just play it later and I'll exit and I'll come back, and I almost was at the end, and I came back and it was the beginning of the game
Oh, wow. I did not realize that. Okay, that totally slipped past me.
because you were like in text message, you're like, did you finish it? And I was like, oh no, because I was almost at the end and then I had to start over. So you could tell me what your thoughts were and also what ending you got, because I would
Okay.
like to know like what kind of the resolve is, because I don't know what the end goal was for the game.
Okay, well, I totally did not notice you couldn't save because I started this game when I got in bed and I was rolling credits by the time I was ready to go to sleep. So it only took me like maybe 20, 30 minutes or something like that. I would imagine that maybe some of the other conversation threads are longer, or maybe if you bounced back and forth between conversation threads, it might take longer. But I played it a pretty specific way. So when my character got to the bar, she starts getting a text from your partner back home, like you said, and the partner's like, "Oh, I miss you, I love you," and I'm like, it doesn't tell you what your history is. It doesn't tell you, do you like your partner? Do you not like your partner?
Right.
Like, what's going on with you guys? Like, it's just like a blank slate, right? So you can do whatever you want, and as you look at the sentences that pop up, you can change the words. Like we said, you can, you could be very like, "Oh yeah, I miss you too," or it could be like, "I don't miss you at all," or like you can say whatever you want to say. So I made the so when I kind of like inserted myself into the situation, I was like kind of imagining that it was like me and my wife, right? And I love my wife very much. She's an amazing woman, my perfect lady. I love her so much. And so I was imagining that it was us, right? And I was like, okay, so if this is my wife, or how would I treat my wife if this was me? And she's like, "I miss you," and I'm like, "Yeah, I miss you too." And she's like, "I'm making noodles. Come have noodles." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have noodles with you later. You bet." And like, she's like, "I had a bad day." I'm like, "Oh, tell me about your bad day." Like, like I was totally like engaging with the partner on text and being very positive and being like, "Yeah, I like you too. You like me. I like you. We have a good relationship. I love it. Yeah, I love a relationship. It's great." And so we were kind of going back and forth between that. And then when your ex pops up in the bar, he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, didn't realize I'd see you here." And he's like, "Yeah, you ever think about us together, old times?" And I'm like, "Nope." And I just like totally shut him down. And then that weirdo who thinks you're from Tinder pops up and he's like, "Oh, hey, babe, yeah, let's talk about this." I'm like, "Oh, fuck off! Get the." I think literally the choice is "fuck you," and you can just like
I don't
tell that
think
guy to.
Yeah, I feel like I couldn't be harsh enough to him, and I wanted to be.
No, there's definitely an option that says either like "fuck off" or "fuck you" or something. I remember "fuck" being.
Oh yeah, maybe there is. Yeah.
So I got to that part and he's like, "Oh, whatever," and then I just ended up like texting my partner for the rest of the time I was in the bar, and then I went home and like, we just had like a good relationship. When you get to the ending of that particular thread, it says, "Oh, you guys decided to talk more. You went to a relationship counselor and everything got like super good, and you guys are super happy." And I'm like, "Cool, done."
Oh yeah, because at some point we didn't really bring up, but there's a conflict, right? Like the idea, which I think is interesting. One of my favorite parts, really, of this kind of narrative experience is you can like you said, you asserted yourself into or put yourself into this as how you would do it, like you, real Brad. But other people, like an RPG or something, will be like, no, this is my character. I actually, this person likes this.
Oh yeah, you could totally
right?
do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but what they do kind of, I don't want to say force, but they do present is this idea that if you're out somewhere and your partner is home and you are flirting and being out and about, where do you want to take that? And also, does that affect your relationship?
Yeah,
And
no, absolutely.
I think they really kind of put that in first and foremost and kind of into the partner part of it. And so that's why if you guys went to counseling, I think it just comes up to be like, all right, well, you're doing something. Where do you want to pursue this? And what does that mean for you and your partner?
Right, right. When they did kind of like steer it that way a little bit, I think my handling of that was kind of like, oh, I'm only at the bar because I need to just like chill. I'm not out here because of all the single people, and I definitely tried to steer it like back to the relationship, like I wasn't out there trying to play the field.
Yeah.
And so they give you the option, and I do think you're correct. They do kind of want you to get into like the strife, even though they don't tell you what it is. Like, you don't, is it you? Is it her? Like, you don't know who's the asshole. Are you both assholes? Like, what happened? Who started the fight? Like, nobody knows, right? You're just kind of just guessing. But I did, as we got through that conversation piece, I was just like, I should talk more. I shouldn't be so shut down. I should probably spend less time at the bar. She's like, yeah, okay, that sounds great. I'm going to try more on whatever it was that she was trying on. And we kind of just like mutually agreed. So I was glad that was one of the potential outcomes. But like you said, you could totally role play it. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have totally been like, later, bitch, and just, not answer those texts. I could have like flirted with the ex and hooked up with the ex. I'm sure that's an outcome for that. And
well, that's what I was probably going towards that because
oh, were you?
Yeah, I wanted to see I played the character as right. Like just do whatever and kind of a free spirit, because I feel like that's what they're presenting you. They're like, here's a bunch of people you can talk to. Although it could have been a bigger game, right? It could have been like a whole bar full of people instead of just two people that you pick from. So I was just handling it that way, and I was gonna like get more into like what was this X about, and what was this like? How did like they fuck up? Because it seems like this isn't really spoiler territory because you can still play it and still have a good time making decisions. But like there was like some past there, and I wanted to get into that. So. I probably will go back.
They're your ex for a reason. I mean, you guys aren't together, so something happened.
Right, and also how the happenstance. Oh my goodness, you're here, I'm here. Let's see where this goes. I'm game. So I was going to go down that route, and I'll play it and finish it now that I know that it's that short. And I'm guessing that I'll probably go with that person and like have a real big, breakup moment or something.
I would be interested in that. I would be curious to see how that goes.
Well, I'm going to do it. I will definitely do it, before the next podcast, and I'll tell you what my ending was. I will say this. I enjoyed it. It was a fun little experience. I actually love the 90s R&B music a lot. It did also remind me, though, because I play a lot of choose your own adventure type games, and this is a tangent, so my final note is that I like this game. I was going to say love. I like this game a lot, and here's my tangent. I want a game like this that has like Zork in it, and the old people in the room know what I'm talking about. So Zork was an old text adventure. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a book, was also turned into a text adventure early on, and these early text adventures really did let you type anything.
Like the text parser adventure, where you could type in like "go north," "search room," and stuff like that. Yeah,
but you could also be like, jump up and sing hippity doo dah, and it would be like, I don't know what you're talking about,
right?
Because it doesn't have that programmed, but it had a ton programmed, and it also some of the really good ones like and this is a wicked tangent, but like there's these things called MUDs. Do you remember MUDs?
Yes. I never played them, but I knew what they were.
Basically like MMOs that were text adventures. A lot of those had even more like ability to parse text and allow you to do lots of different things. Like similar to Dwarf Fortress, where it's a very simple kind of system, not graphic heavy, but the kind of what you can do in text is unlimited. Right. It's a very fascinating world to me. And actually, when I was a kid, I made a bunch of games on my Commodore 64 and TRS-80 that were like this, which were just basically text adventure type stuff. So I bring this up because while I like this game, the limitations were pretty apparent. And I wanted to tell, I guess you can tell that guy to fuck off, but I wanted to say more things to my partner, like, I just got to go or whatever. When they mentioned like relationship stuff, I was just not having it. I just think a game like this with that type of text parsing would be amazing. And
So
am I wrong?
Yeah.
Is that already out there?
I mean, maybe it is. I don't know for sure. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I'm sure that somebody in the indie space has probably explored that stuff. I was just going to say, I totally hear what you're saying. I have played some of those text parser games back in the day, and they were pretty interesting. Like, especially when you would like luck into something that you thought was like a shot in the dark, and then you hit something that was a secret or an Easter egg or some, the developer was waiting for you to say that, and that's a cool moment. But in terms of the limitations of this game, I mean, clearly a small team, clearly a small game. I mean, it's only 20 minutes long. But I think that with the limitations they had in place, the system of being able to choose words for the sentences, I thought worked pretty well. And I mean, clearly this is not an open-ended game. There's only a certain amount of endings that they could program. I mean, they had to like go through the conversation branch tree and figure out, if you like this thing, then do this. And if you didn't like this thing, then do this. So I'm sure it was like way more work than it seems, because it seems like a very straightforward, simple game, but I'm sure it was an enormous task that I just can't comprehend. But for what it is, I feel like it was pretty successful. I love where this is at just mechanically. I would love to see this game system of switching the words around expanded upon, because I think it makes for some pretty interesting moments. Not as freeform as a text parser, certainly, but I think way more freeform than a lot of other games where you're just choosing between, say, A or B. I mean, this is like you could change 3 or 4 words out of each sentence, and each word would like radically change what you said. So yeah. I think it's a pretty cool system. I really like the concept of it. I would love to see it expanded upon, and like maybe take this entire system and put it in like a larger game. So like maybe you've got an open world game, or like, can you imagine like playing like Ghost of Tsushima, but then when you get back to your town or whatever, this system pops up where you're talking to the townsfolk, and you can be like, no, I'm going to burn your village down, or no, I will save your village from being burned, or no, I'm going to burn myself.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever,
There's literally like a very limited, but there are some, a perfect example, choose your own what you're going to say moments in Ghost of Tsushima, which is really interesting because they come out of nowhere. Like you're just like kind of on a side quest, and they're saying like they're talking about some lore piece or something, and you can have 2 options. But again, it's only 2 options. And if this system was there, man, it really
pretty
does.
Incredible, right? Like,
yeah,
mind blowing.
Yeah. So I'm agreeing. By the way, my tangent was because I had the opportunity to go on a tangent about text games because I do love them, and I do think it would work really well in a game like this where you're trying to like go through relationships. I mean, oh my goodness, yeah! Somebody please make that game. But for what this is, like you said, in small team, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really liked the way you could switch around the meaning of your sentence just by a few different words.
Yeah, a lot of potential here. A lot of potential. I would love to see this system expanded upon and used in a larger game. That would be fucking amazing. That would be great. So, yeah. Right on. That was We Should Talk, and we did talk about it. So thank you to the developers and the publishers for sending us that code. I did look it up, and it was... Of course, I don't have it. Whitethorn Games, new up-and-coming indie publisher. Whitethorn Games is the publisher, developed by Insatiable Cycle. So kudos to all those folks. Thank you very much. And that is the end of our games coverage, although we do have one more section. We haven't done an Eye on Games field in a while where Carlos talks about games that are on his upcoming radar, but I think we are going to dip back into that today. Correct, Carlos?
Yeah, just 2 games real quick, and we'll bring it back. I just think sometimes it's nice to tell some games that I'm going to be playing, because you can just like go get the name of the game now and go play it. It's more like kind of a, hey, did you know these games exist? But also, I have my eye on them because I'm going to play them. So the first one is something I just picked up a week ago, and I forgot to kind of experience it for this podcast, but it's called Plane. Well, no,
You have to experience it.
because you let me finish. Let me finish. It's Plane with a Y, so Playne, and it's a meditation game. It's not really a game. It's a meditation experience.
Okay.
Thing. And essentially, what it is you. It helps players. I'm going to read the tagline. It helps players learn and build a daily habit of meditation. You grow and transform this game world by meditating. And it actually builds resilience to stress and experience calm and relaxation. You have this like foresty area, and you can like do things in the world a little bit, and then you focus on meditation, and it just looks really cool. And I feel bad I haven't started it yet, but okay. I'm going to try it tonight because I could use it after a little bit of work today. So Plane, Playne, check that out. That's on my Ion Games field. It's very, very interesting idea. And the other two is Disco Elysium. I'm finally going to play.
Oh, man. I'm really looking forward to that on when it comes to PS4.
I know, but now that you've switched over to PC, you can get in there. Come on.
Nah.
So sexy business time and not Disco Elysium. I'm puzzled.
I mean, number one, sexy. But number two, I think sexy business time, I think it only ended up being like 8 hours total or something. Like, I could play it for an hour a night, and it wasn't that big a deal. But I wouldn't want to play like a 20 or 30-hour game on PC, I don't think.
Right, okay. Anyway, so I'm going to check that out finally. And I know that everybody in the world's already played it and beat it, but I've always wanted to. And my last one, Ion Games Field, I forgot this came out. It just like quietly came out. But that Paper Mario game.
Origami King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like looks really cool, and we have a Switch. Like, what the fuck? We aren't talking about this game.
Why are you not playing this already, Carlos? I'm a little bit upset.
Why aren't you playing this already, Brad? You have a Switch and you're Mr. Switch.
I don't really get into the Paper Mario stuff. It's not my jam.
Do you get into any Mario action?
I do like Mario in general, but it seems too much like an JRPG to me, and I don't play those anymore.
Which I do like. And
you do like.
What was the Super Mario RPG? Is fucking phenomenal.
Back in the day, yeah, I got into that back in the day. I don't do those anymore, but back when I liked them, I did like it a lot. So it's not like I don't like it. Well, I mean, I guess I dislike it, but I don't have a beef with it. I'll just say that it's just not my jam.
All right, well, it's on my Ion Games field. People, if you forgot that it came out, and I'm gonna download it and pick it up and play it.
There you go. Excellent. All right, folks, I think that is going to do it. I don't have anything else. I think that taps out our content barrel. We are now empty. Good time to wrap the show. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we go, as always, we'd love to get your questions and comments. Hit us up, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. We are on Twitter as a show @sovideogames. But you can reach us maybe. Carlos, are you anywhere that people can find you this week? Or are you still in the village?
I mean, I live in this village. I don't really want to leave. It's great. Less muscle cars recently, so we've heard less of those guys.
That's good. Less smoke monsters?
Smoke monsters, I think, are the ones that got rid of the cars.
Oh,
so
great.
They're still here, but I'm kind of friends with them. And yes, I'm on Twitter a little bit, ONAWA. But mainly, I'm just going to plug this for the next 4 weeks until it's done. arobotisyou.com. Just go there, sign up for updates, and you get to see my weird little robot game that will be a thing at some point.
Excellent. When you go to that page and see the giant anime titty girl, you'll know that you found Carlos's game.
Yes, I freelanced that already.
As for me, same as always on Twitter, on Instagram, BRADGALLAWAY, all A's, no O's. And that's going to do it for episode 192. Thank you again for joining us here on the So Video Games podcast. And we will be back before you know it. In the meantime, this is Bye from Brad.
And this is, hey, people who are making that Simpsons porn, stop it.
Stop it with the Simpsons porn. Stop it.
Family Guy and all of it, okay?
Especially the Bart and Lisa stuff. That's fucked up.
Oh, it's all messed up. And I hate to end the episode on this, but you know what? You got to the end. And congratulations. This is your prize. Okay?
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
and also, fucking stop it.